Allison will be out to see along some of the reports that Blue Cross does, and we'll make sure that they get to your table so you can look at them if you'd like to, and I can come in and explain them if you want me to and all that kind of stuff. But I would, unless you got something else you want to say, but are you good with everything? Yeah. Okay, that's the main thing. Want to keep the people happy.
So we should have a motion to renew it if we want to at this time?
Yes, and also where you want to set that increase at, because in the past we've always tried to put a little extra in there. I don't think we need to this year.
I heard we set the rates at the 1.65% and allow the chair to sign the appropriate documents.
Okay, the motion's been made by Bell. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Second by Kaufman. Any more discussion? Roll call. Bell.
Aye.
Kaufman.
Aye.
Gall.
Aye.
Hellerl.
Aye.
Cedar, aye.
Any questions, guys, as far as,
So I think I know the answer to this, but the number one reason why we're so much below everyone else, is that essentially the amount of dollars, or the lack of dollars that's been spent out of our pool?
The lack of dollars being spent as far as not only the pool, but also the dollars, Blue Cross doesn't see claims until 3,500 happens, okay? That's the thing. And that's why the partially self-funded works, is once you can raise that deductible so high, it's like car insurance. You know, if you get it up there so high that they never see the claims, your car insurance doesn't go up. But at the same time, you want to make sure the coverage is good enough to the employee. And you folks, at $500 deductible, you guys are doing great. Other counties that I have, and I have a few of them, their average deductible is $1,000. I mean, double what you have in place right now.
And that's still low for industry.
Yeah, it is. It really is low. And it's kind of one of those things where we've been, again, knock on lucky, if you want to call it that. I think going to the partially self-funded, it happened a while back, I should say, but at that time, we moved away from a self-funded plan that kind of blew up in everybody's face. And it was just a circumstance that I came in and audited that plan that I ended up at this table. And for whatever reason, we looked at this and everybody liked it. So, but it's worked out very, very well. But you're right, it's partially that side fund, but also the fact that Blue Cross isn't processing any of the big claims until after that 3,500, which is really good. The employees have done a tremendous job from keeping claims down, which is a good thing too. I mean, you know, and every time I have a meeting, I let them know it, because it's one of those things where, believe it or not, your group size, claims will determine the rates. It's just a fact of life. So.
Do you need action on the COBRA rates? Do we need to set those?
Probably should, if you want to set those, if you just, whatever you want to do, because I think the COBRA rates do need to be set soon, because we got people that, I think we got one or two on COBRA.
Yeah, we do, so we can send them out their new little coupons.
Yep. So
you need a motion to set that for the COBRA rates?
John just did move, I'll second it.
Okay, motion been made by Bell, second by Hellerl. Any more discussion on it? Roll call. Bell.
Aye.
Hellerl.
Aye.
Gall. Aye. Kaufman.
Aye.
And Gibber, aye.
Would it be appropriate to send an email out from our perspective to the employees, essentially saying what you just said, so they see that cause and effect to this low insurance and their management of their claims?
Yes,
as much as they can help.
I think it would help tremendously, giving them a pat on the back. I mean, right now there's a lot of groups, and I mean a lot of groups, that the employees are having tremendous claims. I mean a bunch of claims, and their rates are going up because of it. So I think the group needs to be commended, patted on the back, and say, hey, you're doing great. That's why our rates are staying down. I think it's important. I think coming from you folks, it's more important than coming from me. We'll put it that way.
Can we get that done?
You better keep setting that up, can't you?
Wayne, I have a question for Phil, can answer this, I'm pretty sure. The balance in the fund, where is that money? Is it county keeps it?
Yep.
Okay, so we're earning interest on that. Okay.
And it's allocated just for health insurance.
Okay.
Yep.
And this fund buys down the deductible.
Yes, it does. And
that's
the out-of-pocket. It makes sure that the amount coming out of the pocket of the employee is limited to $1,500 per person.
Okay.
So it keeps the deductible down, but then it also keeps down the out-of-pocket.
Okay, so the out-of-pocket is different than the deductible.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, thank you, Phil.
Just one last little vote you gotta have.
What's
Oh,
that?
yeah.
You gotta vote to keep me as your administrator.
That's not a little vote.
Well, that's up to you guys, but yeah.
So moved.
Okay, the motion's been made by Ellerhoff, is there a
Second.
second that motion? Second by Gal. Any more discussion? Any discussion? Roll call, Ellerhoff.
Aye.
Gal.
Aye.
Val.
Aye.
Kaufman.
Aye.
Aye, Peter.
And the only thing I did different this year, just to kind of keep everything, is I gave Wayne, it's a blue book. It's got all the pages in it that's in here, that's in the presentation. But that way we can keep all the signature stuff separate, and he knows everything that needs to be signed. So we don't get it one piece at a time or whatever, okay? So, other than that,
This is for us, though, right? So I can sign it later.
you can sign it whenever you'd like to.
Okay.
And then all we gotta do is make sure somebody emails it to me, or mails it to me, whatever works for you guys. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Other than that, well, thank you very much. I
Thank
hope
you,
you all
Phil.
have a
Thank you.
Merry Christmas and a
You too.
Happy New Year anyhow.
You might have a white Christmas now.
Well, it looks that way. I'm afraid, I don't know if I wanna go back, I'll be honest with you, so.
Safe travel.
Oh, you bet.
Sure.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you. So Carrie, we should, on that memo out to the employees, or out to the department heads, should we put that at 1.65 for the health insurance increase?
Well,
then?
you'll provide him the actual rates.
And we'll give them the rates to
Yeah.
use
Okay.
to calculate.
Okay.
So, we usually do that along with the employee listing, so they know exactly how many to calculate. It's just up to them to figure out if any of them are gonna foresee going to a family plan or reducing, but yeah. we try to-
Oh, I can work with them. Okay, thanks.
I apologize, I didn't start the recorder right away after it was paused. When you made the motion, I have it on.
We got 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes.
12.
Something like that, 10 or 12.
Want to go down and see if Julie's down there? Yeah, it might take a little longer.
I'm thinking
Okay.
it's gonna take longer than that. Maybe we should buzz her though to see if she'll be around later, or see if she wants to come up here later, or something. I mean, see what her schedule
It
is.
should be, what, done by, now probably noon.
Say close to around noonish, if she'll be around.
Jeff wants to talk.
Oh. Hey Julie, would you be around, I think we're gonna get done around noon, would you be around for Betty and I to come down and talk to you about that HIPAA stuff? All right, we'll come down. All right, thanks, bye. Yep.
Still sorted.
Take this over to Joe, so we'll run back.
Is Tim on vacation?
I wouldn't know. It's not my day to watch him.
Well, that's not a healthy attitude.
Yeah, well, what can I say? Kind of left a bad taste in my mouth.
Oh, yeah.
lot of interest here.
It's fun to keep track of. Do we have some kind of tab sheet? Or will they have a
Wonder if
tab
Dawn
sheet?
does. I should ask him.
Might ask him, yeah.
Yes, he has something he's handing out. You probably would rather have a decent sharp one.
I have these, one of these.
Do you? Yeah. That
One of those. See if that'll work.
This is the only other man you want. Maybe you don't have to read this.
I don't know, whatever you think.
Bob, Sharon Fresno just told me to tell you hello. I just was texting. I said, I'm staring at Bob Steen right now.
Yeah, she's probably glad she hasn't heard from me.
That's what she's on vacation.
Oh, is she? Yeah. Yeah, she covers a lot of territory.
Mhm.
She really does.
I have a little sign-in sheet here, if you could all sign it.
We did Sunday.
Oh, you did, so you all done?
Pretty much. We'll spend some time with his family Christmas, but how about you guys? Everything Christmas Day?
Here and there, yeah.
That's your birthday.
Oh, that's forgotten.
That's forgotten. Oh,
Yeah.
that's too bad.
You think you got shorted through the years?
Absolutely did.
I bet you did, don't you?
Well, today's my little grandson's birthday, Tristan.
23?
He's
On the 23rd,
Yes,
I mean?
he's a year old today. I couldn't believe it. Where's that year gone? And Adams is the 29th. So.
I found that a long time ago. A lot of people don't care about nothing.
I worked really hard every year. As soon as Christmas was over, done, put away, so that by his birthday, it was all birthday. That worked out really great. But it's kind of hard when you're a Christmas baby to do that.
Yep.
Oh. Yeah, that makes sense.
I'll just have to get back with Bev. He must be unavailable to answer the question about Dvorsky. We want them both at the same time. I don't think we want them in two different meetings.
Publication you're talking about, they're over at the newspaper office, but I don't have them here. Do you need it today? I can get it. Have somebody go from you.
We don't need this. If you publish twice, then we'll be able to get proof.
Yeah, yeah, they're ready. They're over at the newspaper.
That's all you need.
Yeah. Do you want those?
No, we don't need them.
Yeah, they always send me the documents.
Is there enough for the board? Yes. Procedurally-wise, we'll open security first. Should be the center of the bid. And then the bid security, then we'll open the bid.
Those addendums that we sent, do they need to officially approve those?
No, they don't.
Okay. That's all the question again?
Just with the file.
Okay, they're on file.
The notice, we changed the notice. Even what was in the paper, saying how we were paying for it. Somebody saw that. I think you told me.
Well, somebody, John asked me about whether you told me to check on it.
That was a bond.
Then you said you were sending something differently. So you don't need to do any training that you need to do.
No.
Go ahead. Robert?
We have some extra, did they leave them up here or not?
We got a few more.
We can use that one.
There'll be some more chairs coming shortly. Somebody can sit here, yeah.
Can we just open them right here, Deb? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. He's got them over there.
Oh, okay, we can do it there.
No,
No,
you can take them down there.
You can do it.
There's a couple more chairs over here if anybody wants them. Go ahead, John. Want me to open it, you read, or?
No, we still got 5 minutes.
No, I'm just asking.
Oh.
I have a
That
sign-in
would be
sheet
fine.
going around
Yes,
too.
if you
I need
would.
everybody to sign.
Anybody else need a bid summary form?
Is that chair going down?
When's the new budget year?
Brad's gonna fix that chair one of these years.
It is going down.
Yes, it is.
Problem isn't the chair, it was the purchaser.
Doesn't make any difference, however you want to do it.
I'd assume you open the bid security ahead and.
Sure.
And if it's okay, then the next thing.
We would need to.
Now this stuff, I assume they have their security inside
Yeah,
of there.
I'll look through.
Still comfortable, isn't it?
What's that?
It's still comfortable, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
On the ground, except it's like in booster seat.
Okay, it's 10 o'clock. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn to the Stanwood Drainage District as trustees.
So moved.
Motion's been made by Ellen Hoff, is there a second? Second by Bell. Roll call. Ellen.
Aye.
Bell. Aye. Kaufman.
Aye.
Bell.
Aye.
And Dearborn got it. Stanwood Drainage District, this is 10 o'clock. It's time for the bid opening. We have Don Etler and his partner that are going to open the bids.
Thank you, Wayne.
Yep.
Board members, this is the bid opening time for the Cedar DD1 project. I'm not a prophet, but I told the board I bet we get 10 bids. And we have 10 bids here, so I appreciate the interest that contractors put into this. We had, and I'll file this with the board. You can pass that around, John. We had 65 plan holders, and 39 of them identified themselves as prime bidders, so that is the most that I've ever had for a drainage district project. There were 3 addendums issued, addenda, and the addenda 1 changed the bid form. So if you didn't acknowledge addenda 1, you're in trouble. Addendas 2 and 3 are relatively minor adjustments. If addenda 3 is not acknowledged, I'm going to recommend to the board that they waive that as a technicality, because all it did was change the words in one unit and one bid item. Way we'll pursue this is we'll open the bids, we'll check the bid security, and if it is adequate, then we'll open the bid. And we'll read the section totals. There's a section 1 is the private lands total. Section 2 is with the county road crossings, and section 3 is the state crossings. And then we'll read the total. Now the board has, through an agreement with the DOT, the board has agreed to reserve the right to delete section 3, which is the highway borings. And if that is done, then the DOT would assume that through a separate contract, perhaps even negotiate with our low bidder. Representing DOT today is Newman Abu Isi, close enough, and we'll be looking to the DOT on that with regard to section 3. After we've opened all the bids, Neil Gass from Bolton Mink and I will go off and review the bid sum and compile a summary of this sheet. And then at 11 o'clock the board will convene a hearing on this project for the drainage district. And all that is to so the public is aware of the plans and specs and has a chance to comment to them and the bids. The board then will advise the board today to not award, but to delay the decision a week or maybe 2, so that we can check the qualifications of the bidder. I only know maybe 2 or 3 of you, and also we have some finance, one document in the financing they need to get squared up as well. So I guess we're ready to open then.
The first bid is the bid of, excuse me, I can't pronounce it. Tigis Free Excavating out of Dubuque. Okay, out of Dubuque. First is the bid bond. And I leave the bid bonds with the auditor. After we bid bond appears to be in order.
You spell Shigfry, T-S-C-H-I-G-G-F-R-I-E. T-S-C-H-I-G-G-F-R-I-E Excavating. And they're from Dubuque.
The bid of the contractor, the acknowledged addendums 1, 2, and 3. We'll fix the envelopes, I don't keep them. I'll read the totals for each section.
Deb, don't we usually keep the envelopes because they have that stamp on them?
We usually do, because they have file marks on them.
If you wish.
Sure.
Total bid, section 1, $2,462,223.90. A122462-223.90. Bid for Section B, $48,390, 48300.9. Bid for Section 3, $226,292.75, 226,292.75. Total bid, all three sections, $2,736,816.95. 2736816.95. Next will be the bid of Miller Trucking and Excavating of Silvis, Illinois. That's Silvas. They put staples every place in this. I got it. Had to talk to it a little bit. Bid bond appears to be in order. Where are you putting them at, Don? That's that.
Need to keep the envelopes with the bids, because they have file stamps on each individual one.
Yeah.
They should be marked, they're marked bid as opposed to one.
Yeah, we're okay. Acknowledge addendums 1, 2, and 3. Illinois contractor does have his Iowa public registration number. Bid for Section 1, $3,445,737.00. 3,445,737.00. Bid for Section 2, $50,482, 50482. Bid for Section 3, $247,275, 247,275. Total bid, $3,743,494, 3,743,494. The next bid is the bid of Langman Construction of Rock Island, Illinois, Langman. Bid bond for 5%. Down here, I'll have to sharpen the knife.
Sharpen your pencil, Neil.
Acknowledge addendums 1, 2, and 3. Does have an Iowa public registration number. Total bid, section 1, $1,761,917. 1761917. Total bid, section 2, $24,900. 24900. Total bid, section 3, $159,182. 159182. Total bid amount, $1,945,999 and no cents. 1945999. You want to put a paper clip on that one there? Go ahead. Next is the bid of Dave Schmidt Construction of Cedar Rapids. That's SCHMITT. Bid bonds in order. You told me you were going to put me to work today. Acknowledge addendums 1, 2, and 3. I did the Iowa registration numbers for the out-of-state contractors. Just so you know, Iowa contractors do have them. So, okay. Department of Revenue requirement. They want to make sure they get their share of the tax money. The bid, section 1. $2,175,954.60. 2,175,954.60. Bid, section 2, $43,600. 43600. Bid, section 3, $197,802. 197,802. Total bid, $2,417,356.60. 2417356.6. Next is the bid of BWC Excavating of Solon, Iowa. BWC Excavating. Bid bond for 5%. Acknowledge addendums 1, 2, and 3. They even filled out the contract. They must be an optimist. So. Total bid, section 1, $1,000,000. $1,443,904.60. 1,443,904.6. Total bid section 2, $33,774. 33774. Total bid section 3, $147,182. 147,182. Total bid amount, $1,624,860.60. Next is the bid of Rickliffs Excavating Limited of Anamosa, RICKLEFS. I'd hate to say how many years it's been since I've had 10 bids for a while. If this is very unusual anymore. Acknowledged, oops, better get the bid bond first. I think they got them in the wrong envelopes. Feels like there's something else in here. Okay. Bid bond for Rickliffs Excavating for 5%. In order. Acknowledge addendums 1, 2, and 3. Total bid section 1, $1,785,886. 1,785,886. Bid section 2, $27,168. 27168. Bid section 3, $174,025. 174,025. Total bid, $1,987,079. 1,987,079. Next is the bid of Denver Underground and Grading, Inc., Denver, Iowa. Bid bond for 5%. Acknowledged addendums 1, 2, and 3. Okay, the bid of Denver Underground, Section 1, $1,553,057.30. 1,553,057.3. Bid Section 2, $30,756. 30756. Bid Section 3, $197,432. 197,432. Total bid, $1,781,245.30. Next is the bid of J.B. Holland Construction of Decorah, Iowa. Bid bond for 5% is in order. Acknowledge addendums 1, 2, and 3. They use a unit price attachment time. Okay. It does not summarize by section. The specification allows an electronic spreadsheet for the bid instead of filling in the sheet. This one does not summarize for each section.
We can give the total though, right?
Yeah. I will read it under advisement. I will not read it because it has notes on it on things that are excluded and which could be contrary to the specifications. They're on the footnotes on the bottom down.
Is someone here from Holland? I think they're just their notes, they're not exclusion.
The bid's got to be per the specifications.
Yeah.
This does a total bid $2,257,735.65. 2257,735.65. And again, I'm reading it under advisement.
The question is whether those notes at the bottom are conditions.
Yes. Next is the bid of Maxwell Construction of Iowa City. Bid bond for 5%. Acknowledge addendums 1, 2, and 3. The bid of Maxwell Construction. Total bid, section 1, $1,525,787. 1525787. Total bid, section 2, $21,068. 21068. Total bid, section 3, $148,401. 148,401. Total bid, $1,695,256. The last bid, the bid of Portzen Construction, Portzen, of Dubuque, Iowa. Bid bond for 5%. Acknowledged addendum number 1, did not acknowledge addendum number 2 or 3. Number 2 was significant, correct?
It was, yeah.
I will not read the bid.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, all you bidders, thank you very much. We appreciate it. We need to review the bids and report back to the board at 11 o'clock.
The apparent low by this reading is BWC, $1,625,000 with Maxwell Construction second, 1,695. The bid of J.B. Holland had some notes at the bottom. They weren't low, I suppose.
But we still need to check everything.
Yeah. If it's all right with the board, then we'll go off into the auditor's office and check these and come back to you at 11 o'clock with the number.
And we need to take up that, Don, we need to take that up of charging 5% of final 38 crossing cost to the Iowa Department of Transportation for engineering and contract administration.
We do all that at 11, don't we?
Or you want that done at 11?
We really can't do it until we know documents are all in place.
Yeah, you need to make several decisions. You need to appoint right-of-way appraisers and appoint benefit commissioners, and but the DOT has acknowledged the 5%. I believe they consider that fair. I don't know if I introduced you.
No, when I was with the Iowa DOT, we are aware of the 5% to be added to the low bid as part of the administration and engineering.
So if we award the contractor does the boring work, we send the bill to the DOT plus 5%.
We are working on an agreement with the Drainage District Board as well.
Down on this other thing on the bankers, this contract that they sent us, the question I had, and I asked you that, is that if on a warrant, we don't give the warrant to the contractor, we give the warrants to the auditor, and she takes them over to the bank and gets cash for them, and then pays the contractor by check, correct?
Yes, that agreement says that the county will issue all of the warrants to the bank group and also pay off the current debt and with cash generated from the warrants that go to the bank.
Right.
So the bank will end up with all of them, and you will not sell warrants to anyone else.
And you guys have no problem with that contract there that the banker sent out to us?
Yeah, I work pretty closely with Bob Steen on that, and so did Jim, and yes.
And we have not got that from Jostin either yet, that you want.
That was one of our questions, if we could contact them directly to just get
Jostin?
Jostin?
Yeah.
Dorsey?
You need
I would say, wouldn't you say, Don?
If you are all right.
Handy, but I can probably find it.
If you are all right with Jostin being the attorney to appoint, yes.
Bev's got his number too, I think.
You can keep
Okay. question I have is I talked to Jim Hudson about the interest calculation method.
Mhm.
And this goes on to, in theory, 20 years, so we'd like to come to an agreement, early on. He mentioned that it would be calculated at 365.25 denominator. Is that in the code?
No.
Okay, I'd like to agree not to do that between the lender and the drainage district. If we could just use a 365. That obviously is for the leap year calculation, and it's just a nuisance for everybody. And
Just stay at 365 days a year.
I think everything else the county does is at 365, so I would.
The 3625 is what Solutions Software uses for the drainage district assessment calculation. I don't know if you have Solutions Software here or not.
We don't have it here.
So
Not that particular one.
365 would be.
We do, but, I mean, we utilize Solutions, however, we haven't purchased this, but I'm not sure, and Carrie left. Carrie was making some recommendations that we purchase some software to deal with this. So we may want to check with her.
Well, we could.
But that's
Boy, if that's the biggest hang-up.
We're talking about pennies, but believe
Yeah.
me, that we got 4 banks involved and the auditor, and
So that will slightly increase the interest payment.
it
Just
will
a tad
indeed.
bit, yeah.
3 out of the 4 years. We catch up on the 4th year. If we count a leap year, which we won't.
But you have no problem with the rest of that contract, then?
No, and Jim doesn't either, I know.
Okay.
So if
Did you want to call Bob Johnston now? Or do you want
No,
to?
no, we can,
Okay.
one of us can track him down. We thought he would probably want to see our participation agreement because we want that letter addressed to all 4 banks.
So you want us to wait first till you get that letter first?
Well, what we'd like to do is, what I think we could do is if you formally accept our proposal and we get that letter, we're ready to go.
Okay.
Okay. And we would start by buying there's a group of warrants that the treasurer holds, there's one warrant that the auditor holds, and then we'd get that done, and then from then on they get issued in the $10,000 denomination.
Okay. The board have any questions on it? What's the board's wish? You want to
Can we approve
that
based on them
agreement?
getting a letter?
Okay.
Subject to their
Subject to their
receipt of
getting
that.
You making that motion?
Yes.
Okay, the motion been made by Kaufman. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Second by Ellerhoff. Any more discussion?
I think the issue with the 365 versus the other, I think that's just that's not part of it. We can work out that situation.
We can live with that, but believe me, that's
well, and I don't know what they can do on their end, but we discuss that.
Okay, any more discussion? Roll call. Kaufman.
Aye.
Ellerhoff.
Aye.
Gal.
Aye.
Bell.
Aye.
And Dearborn Guy. So you get your approval.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Bob.
you.
Thank you,
Glenn.
guys.
Yeah.
Yep, thank you.
This is the first time in Iowa this type of financing, I believe.
We're gonna go check bid.
Okay.
Yeah.
You'll be back at 11 o'clock then?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I already told you what's on for the 30th.
Yeah.
Did you have him here? What is it, Beth?
Jim's coming in to talk about a new 911 position.
Oh, gosh.
And then,
I really blocked that out.
And then,
Sorry.
and then Senator Dvorsky and Representative Kaufman, they might be
Tentatively,
here.
yes, gotcha.
On the 30th.
That's right. I really blocked it.
So we have 25 minutes.
Yeah, we just went in.
Do you want to buzz Julie to see if she's
Yeah,
available
we can
now?
stop down there now.
We'll just pop down there. Wayne has something else for us to do.
So you guys will be back at 11 o'clock?
We will be
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
sharp, not just to 11 o'clock.
We'll be early.
10:59.
Okay.
We'll be early.
Okay, I'll call the recess until
I'm
11
gonna
o'clock.
Yeah, that's good.
Where they meet out.
I do not.
As much as I thought.
Yeah.
It's good, you start talking new, yeah, the whole, gotcha.
Okay, we're back in session.
At 11, you're supposed to convene a hearing and,
Okay,
and
we convene the hearing.
consider, okay? And this is a Chapter 26 hearing, of which I'm not familiar with, the process.
Just approval of the plans and specifications.
So we need a motion to approve the plans and specifications.
After hearing thereon is basically what it is.
Okay, does somebody want to make that motion?
So moved.
Okay, the motion been made by Ellerhoff, is there a second to that motion? Second. Second by Gal. Any discussion? Roll call. Ellerhoff.
Aye.
Gal.
Aye.
Bell.
Aye.
Kaufman.
Aye.
And Dearborn, aye. Okay, the plans and specifications have been approved.
Now, with regard to the bids, we've discovered some irregularities in the apparent low bid. It was a handwritten bid, and the bids are calculated based upon the dollars entered in the unit price column. So dollars per foot, that's what governs. So we've seen some calculation errors which will affect who is the low bidder. We need to check them more thoroughly rather than rush through this, and we need to check all 10 bids. But based upon what we've seen so far, the apparent low may be the second one, Maxwell. And we'll confirm that to you at your meeting next week.
Okay.
We'll have the numbers for you.
It appears the second bid is correct. No math error, but we need to recheck it.
Okay.
And the third bid, and we haven't checked the other 7. It is an amazing thing here, but it has the potential to flop first and second by not much. Okay?
Okay, so you'll get back to us next week on?
Yes, so, yeah,
Set
so.
up a time now, or is
Are
your
you
only
coming
here-
back to present?
Well, I think we can do this by phone.
Okay.
Unless we have
We got a
a
copy of
check
everything.
contractor or something. So, yeah,
What
anytime
time?
would work.
Well, you have, Tim at 8:45, you have legislators at 9:30, gonna give an update till 10, so, anytime.
What do we've got payroll, or, no, we don't have payroll,
No.
we won't have. So somewhere between 8:30 and 8:45, we'll give you a call.
That'd be fine.
Okay.
Also, we will check the qualifications of the bidders too,
Okay.
in that week.
Does the board have any knowledge of Maxwell Construction or BWC? Have you worked with them on any other projects?
No, Maxwell's out of Iowa City, I know that, but
BWC's out of Solon.
I've never heard of them.
Okay. Bev, your staff right now is running copies of the bids for us. We're going to leave the originals with you. Here's the bid bonds and
Actually,
envelopes.
Carrie's the auditor,
Carrie's
it's
the
her
auditor.
done.
Okay, we'll carry then. And here's the bid we did not read. And I'd like you to keep them in your possession. And usually, once we make the award, then we return the bid bonds.
So you'll need, but keep the bid bond of the low bidder, whoever that is.
Well, until the contracts are signed.
Yeah.
You're gonna leave, you can leave that all with Carrie or me.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Okay, so then we need to, going on down the list, we need action on charging 5% the final Highway 38 crossing
You know the-
cost, or not, you know, it's what.
The DOT is going to make a 28 agreement document, right?
Yes, we are working on an agreement with the Drainage District Board, which will specify the cost which will occur to the DOT of that agreement. And then if there is as well, I guess, cost changes, then we'll have to discuss those afterward.
But Is it your opinion that the DOT will go ahead and have the contractor do the project rather than the DOT doing the project?
Our preference is that the contractor do the project if all the bids come in squared and we resolve all the issues.
Okay.
And the prices seems to be reasonable to the estimates.
Okay.
So you could, I guess the only thing you would need to do is maybe act to say that you charge 5% to the DOT for the engineering administrative costs for the Section 3 work. But
Yeah, to be clarified, to the Section 3 work, that's our responsibility on Highway 38.
Yeah.
yes.
And we're gonna charge them 5% more than what the
What
local.
the cost comes up to be.
So we need a motion to approve that.
Well, you could defer until they get the agreement
Defer
here.
until we get the whole agreement.
Okay.
Yeah, all right, you can wait on that then.
We'll defer that till next week then. Okay, then the one regarding waiving the interest cost, if DOT pays the invoices for Highway 38 crossing, that'll be taken up also then at that time.
Yeah, we're asking the payment be within 60 days of invoice. Is that
We have 30-day waiting period, I think minimum. I can't answer you at this point without our accounting office.
It should be the 2080.
Yeah, Ken Yana, his supervisor has that
Yes.
information, so
So we don't have to do anything on that right
probably
now.
not, no.
Okay, discussion appointment of benefit commission members.
You will need to sometime, wouldn't have to be today, but appoint 2 disinterested landowners from the county to work with the engineer on the assessment schedule for the project. Now, we've already done the preliminary assessment. There'll be some tweaks to that, and then these commissioners will make those tweaks with me, and then we'll file the
Now, didn't you recommend that we do the same ones that Carrie appointed for the 2 people she appointed?
For the right-of-way, has that?
Yeah,
right?
I have that letter here, and if you want a copy, I can get that to you.
So your recommendation is to appoint those same 2 people?
If they're willing to do it, you bet.
Well, the one was on the before, wasn't she then? And then the other one is Mary. Would Mary be interested in doing that?
Well, you'd have to just email her and find out.
Okay, we'll find out and then let us know next Tuesday and we can appoint her. And then find out from both of them if they'll do that with Don on there then.
I would say 1 day's work.
Okay.
It'll be.
And Don, what did you say the benefit commission was gonna do, so I can tell her?
They will finalize the assessment, the benefit classifications for the parcels in the district. And we're gonna be working from that, what we already had done, so.
Okay, then the last thing on here is discussion appointment of Bolton and Mink to prepare an engineer's report for annexation of benefited lands to the district, and appoint Bolton and Mink to prepare an engineer's report for the cleanout repair of the main open ditch, and appoint Crawford Engineering to provide a field survey for support for the engineer's report.
Those are 2 separate things, really. The first one is,
For the annexation of benefited lands.
yes, there are some lands that are lay outside of this area that we need to add to the district. It's a procedural thing. It's not a.
It's not a big cost or anything.
No,
'cause
most of the cost is the meeting, the hearings, and
Right.
come and explain it to them. We'll file a report with you listing the lands that are not in the district we recommend be annexed. And they're already in that assessment schedule, and they were given notice of the meetings, so they're fully aware of it. But it's a procedural thing you need to do.
Okay, so we need to appoint Bolton and Mink to do that then, the engineering firm.
To do an annexation report. A few $1,000s. Go.
Okay, the motion's been made by Ellerhoff. Is there a second that motion?
Second.
Second by Kaufman. Any more discussion? Roll call. Ellerhoff.
Aye.
Kaufman.
Aye.
Dell.
Aye.
Dowell. Aye. And Dearborn aye. So that's taken care of. Okay, then the others is for the clean out of the main open ditch. And we did have a petition that was presented to us, signed by Dennis Coppice and Old North Limited Liability Partnership by Kirk Y.
Yeah, procedurally, this will be a separate thing. You have an engineer's report, you'll have a hearing where everybody's invited, and they'll go over the costs. I'd roughly figured it at, I think $40 an acre for the 8,000 in the district, so it'd be 350,000 is a guess right now, but close to that.
That's what it costs to clean out the ditch?
Yeah.
We've gotten some estimates under 100,000.
You still would need to have the hearing. It'd be great if we did it.
Actually, if we wouldn't have had this petition, I don't believe we would have had to. Because what would have happened is if we weren't considering this at all, as part of this improvement or anything, which we weren't.
You aren't. You still aren't.
It would reclassify the dollar number as to what we would have to do and the procedure we'd have to follow. And what it does is it adds in the new improvement to that dollar figure, which throws that threshold up a whole bunch, and we could have proceeded however we wanted to proceed as a board. Unfortunately, with this petition, we're now forced to do an engineering report because it goes over that $25,000 threshold, and now we have to do the engineering report because we've been petitioned to do it and proceed in that manner. So I think it's going to cost.
So you thought you could do the repair without a hearing?
We weren't even going to approach that at this point. But if you look, and I put the code back because I knew this letter was coming, and I thought it's a moot point at this point. But there was in code where if those aren't tied together, it's a totally separate deal, and you're coming in later, and we weren't trying to avoid the issue, then you can use the new threshold dollars, which would be not only the $25,000 original number, but also now the 2.4 and that percentage of that, and we would be way below that threshold.
The bidding threshold is 135,000
well, it doesn't matter.
or
It
something
doesn't
like
matter.
that. But you still need the hearing. You still have to have the public hearing.
Because there's a petition.
Well, even if there wasn't.
Even if there wasn't, you wouldn't have to as long as you stay below that threshold. But regardless, it's a moot point.
And that's the trouble with that new law.
Because we have a petition before us now. But
Yeah.
we're going to spend a lot of money on a report and so forth. And
Well, I don't think it says that, John,
But regardless, it's a moot point at this point because we have a petition before us.
yeah, I think the important thing is you have the hearings and the people have the chance to be heard at hearing or participate. And that hasn't changed. Those thresholds haven't changed, but the bid letting requirement has gone up substantially.
The language that I was quoting you, it gives you the, I think, and or, but I have to go back and look at it. And basically, once you've done the improvements, so if you spent $25,000 on the original, or $30,000, whatever or $50,000 on the original, and now we spend $1.6 million, you add those two together, and then your threshold is based on that number.
Oh, well, I wish the attorney were here to advise on that, but I don't think you add them. You just look at that facility as a separate facility, and the district main would be a separate facility.
So like I said, we don't even need to have this discussion because we have this petition in front of us.
All right.
But can the petition, if John is right and we get clarification, can the petition be withdrawn?
No, because it's come before us at this point.
Well, if you need to have Mr. Hudson advise you on that, and I probably better. There's no use hiring an engineer where you don't have to hire an engineer. I'm really not looking for work, but it's. I think procedurally you need to have the report for the hearing.
The report of how to clean the ditch out, or what it's costing?
Yes. What it would cost, what needs to be done. It's going to be more than just digging. There's going to be pipe involved with it. You'll have to deal with the railroad, cutting deeper under the railroad bridge and that type of thing. If Mr. Hudson says you don't need an engineer's report, you would not have to do it.
If we don't have to do that, can the petition be withdrawn?
You just don't act on the petition. You have people asking for it, but it's your decision. They don't force you to do it. You decide what to do.
Yes, Kirk.
If I may comment, for the interest of everybody involved, would it be appropriate for the supervisors to research this, set this aside until next week to when you act again on the drainage district activities and clarify John's concern so that everybody is fully informed?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Is there anything, can we see if the lawyers would not take care of it? Why not? Let's try to clarify right now. Can we try to call the lawyer right now?
Hudson in his office?
I know he's gonna be gone this week. I don't know if it's today or not. I really don't.
Try and call him. We'll see if he's in his office. You try to celebrate Christmas.
Thank you. I just got told I gotta put a grant together. Is that? I'm gonna give this to the auditor. Is that? That's mine. Okay. I need to duck out.
If you'd like.
Okay. I need to duck out, take care of the fire, but thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, this is the Cedar County Board of Supervisors calling. Is Attorney Hudson in the office today? The board's in the drainage district meeting right now, and they were hoping to talk to him. He's on the phone, but she's gonna see if he'll get off of that call.
They had plenty.
Where are they?
They weren't for you.
No.
See, what this says is if the estimated cost of improvements does not exceed $20,000 or 25% of the original cost of the district and subsequent improvements, whichever is the greater amount, the board may order the work done without notice. But there's parameters to there, so basically we weren't trying to go around, but you know, to not have to do the two together and so forth. It just wasn't in our plans. There's other parameters to that, but
Yeah, this would be a separate procedure. Say, if the ditch were 100,000, say.
Attorney Hudson, I'm gonna put you on our speakerphone in the boardroom.
Good morning, Jim. Good morning, Jim.
Is that Wayne?
Yes, sir. How are you, Jim?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good. We're talking about the Stanwood Drainage District up there, Jim.
Yes?
Cleaning out that ditch up there. And this is not part of the original project.
Right.
But cleaning out the ditch up there, and John has said he's got some estimates of under 100,000, and Don's bringing in, he says it's going to cost close to 330,000. And we got a petition in front of us that they said they want to go ahead with Don to do this. So can we act on the petition or not act on the petition and go ahead with the under 100,000? And do we need a public hearing? Do we need an engineer on that project?
You got a lot of questions, but let me go through it slowly and hopefully I'll catch it.
Okay.
First of all, the language of the petition means absolutely nothing. It is not like a petition in court where you request a certain type of relief and style of relief. I sent the petition to Kurt to circulate with landowners. All it takes is one signature of a landowner in the district, and they wanted to have a separate petition, different and distinct from the other one, because they want to clean out the main ditch.
Correct.
So I said, fine, we'll start a petition. The Iowa code with respect to drainage procedure is what controls. Once the board, acting as trustees, receives a petition, then you're required to hire an engineer to do a study and a survey. And the survey doesn't mean to go out and measure it. He's to survey people to see what's wrong in the district. Well, Don already knows because in his report for the improvements, for adding those laterals and improving things, there's a sentence or a paragraph in there that says the main open ditch should receive consideration for a clean out or repair, kind of words to that effect, Wayne.
Okay.
So your choices are you move forward to appoint an engineer to do a study and report back to you. When there are repairs involved, you're required by the Iowa Code to make repairs to keep district facilities in a good state of repair. There's some magic words that kind of, but it says to make, restore, maintain to the original design efficiency and the original design capacity. Meaning if a drainage ditch has sloughed in, has sandbars, has siltation in it, then it needs to be cleaned out. So you already know that without the engineer doing much work. It does need to be bid because you're over $25,000. They're tweaking the bid threshold. The Iowa Drainage District Association kind of got hijacked and passed some bad legislation that went into effect in July, which we're trying to fix. But they really messed with the bidding process and bidding procedures and bidding amounts. You also can't divide up a project like clean out, a half mile of ditch and then a half mile and then a half mile and a half mile to avoid the bidding. So I think at a minimum you need some kind of an engineer's report, be it Etler's or somebody else, and notice and bids, and then hire a contractor. I think Don was thinking that you'd have some contractors, in the area working on those laterals, and they might give you a lot better bid, if they're already going to be in the neighborhood. But you're not required to hire Etler. You pick who you want for an engineer. When you said John already had an estimate of $100,000, where does that come from, or how does that come about?
It's a verbal. It's just I had someone look at it that's done some work before.
Sure.
Give an idea, not really a true estimate.
Like a local contractor.
Yes.
Well, that same contractor could certainly bid, and quite frankly, the engineering expense of putting together bid specs for a repair is pretty nominal, I would think. He stayed away from looking at the open ditch because that wasn't what the problem was on the other project. But I think it's maybe just obvious to everybody the ditch needs to be cleaned out in different areas.
And I guess it boils down to a couple of different things. One, if we go back and we start at the bottom and go all the way to the top, it may not be back to original. It could classify as an improvement. And when looking here at 468-126, where it talks about repairs and improvements, there's language in here that says that the estimated cost of the improvements does not exceed $20,000 or 25% of the original cost of the district and subsequent improvements, whichever is greater. The board may order the work done without notice.
Yeah, but you're over $100,000.
But what I'm saying is the estimated cost of the language says original cost of the district and subsequent improvements. So my argument was that if in fact we went ahead with a 1.6 million or whatever that cost is, in addition to the original cost, you're way above that threshold.
Oh yeah.
So you don't need to worry about you wouldn't need to worry about it. We could just order it done without notice.
Well, if you're comfortable with that, my advice is that $100,000 is a hell of a lot of money. And I think rather than stand criticism, you know, it's designed not to have a good old boy arrangement. And you do competitive bidding, and so long as the bidders are well qualified, you know, and you get a good bid from a good contractor. The other thing is the definition of improvements. A repair is to restore it to its original design efficiency and its design capacity. Many of these ditches were dug by hand, or they didn't follow the original design, and so we find out when we go in to clean them out that they need to be deeper, wider, different banks. I'm not an engineer, but it occurs, and that is still a repair, not an improvement. But you were really concerned about a remonstrance of having the landowners object to it and not want it. The main open ditch, every single landowner in the district will be entitled to participate in it, in the hearing and but I think it's a significant amount of money you ought to consider notice and hearing to let all the landowners know what's going on. And the board won't get, you know, you're not subject to questions and concerns if you just err on the side of notices and hearings. I'm not trying to run up cost.
But it does tremendously.
Well, just because
well, it does. I mean, for a notice and hearing on a repair.
Jim, the question is with regard to that percentage. Exceed $20,000, or was it 75% of the original cost, or 25%?
25% original
25%
cost.
25% of the original cost.
And subsequent.
So is it, yeah, and subsequent improvements. Now, if we look just at the main ditch, which I think is the way you're supposed to look at it, then we're looking at the cost of the main ditch and subsequent improvements to the main ditch, and not count those laterals toward that.
Not the entire district.
So in that regard, then.
Yeah, I think a lot of the law is interpretive.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, but.
And we know who understands the law, appears to understand the law better than others, and that happens to be the lawyers and the engineers.
Well, it's what we do. I don't do any root canals. and you wouldn't want much of my advice about it other than to have them put you out as deeply as you can get. Well, I agree with what Don said, that it's just the ditch value.
So in other words, what I'm hearing is that petition, we don't have to honor the petition, we don't have to do anything with the petition, we can still go out and hire an engineer to do the open ditch engineering and then take bids, have a hearing and take bids.
Yeah, the language of that petition, I think I used the analogy at one of our informal meetings. It's like if I wake up in the morning and my basement is flooded above my top step. I don't know if my drain's backed up, if my sewer backed up, if water pipes broke, if the sump pump quit, if the washing machine overflowed. I don't know what it is. So I don't call the plumber and say, come and repair my pipes. I call the plumber and say, my basement is flooded, find out what it is and fix it. So the engineer, when he goes out and studies and does his investigation and survey, he reports back to the board what he finds and what he recommends needs to be done. But the language of the petition does not control it. I told Kirk to insert at the bottom of that petition, review cleaning out the main open ditch, or words to that effect. So that would trigger a focus for the engineer and for the board. But the board doesn't need a petition to do repairs even. If you're aware that the facilities are in need of repair, you can just go repair them, or if they're up to a bigger dollar amount, you know, if you're just dipping out a sandbar, you can have the county engineer go out there with his equipment, dip it out, and be done with it. You're well under $25,000. And pay him back, because Cedar County.
Okay, is there any other questions for?
But I just want to say this. I like $25,000 as a bid threshold, because it's just a competitive way of getting a good bid, and then the board isn't criticized for favoring one person over another, or being attacked on your procedure or your interpretation of the code. So I'm very conservative in my advice in that regard.
Okay. Any other questions for Jim? I don't see anybody raising their hand or asking anything, Jim, so thank you for the advice and have a nice Christmas.
Well, I want to say to the board, too, I'm tickled with how things are progressing with the project, with the laterals. You should appreciate that these local banks are coming together and doing a good job of getting it financed how you saw to finance it. So I'm very pleased that's happening in that fashion. That's a good thing.
We're pleased with the banks, too. They've done a good job. Yep.
Yeah, I'm glad they're willing to jump in for a good local project. So, anyhow, good luck and Merry Christmas to everybody in Southeast Iowa.
Okay. Thank you, Jim.
Take care.
Yep,
thank you.
Well, you certainly don't have to respond to that petition today if you want to wait another week or so. But the advantages to the engineer's report, and my heavens, I'm not saying it's roughly estimated what it would cost. We take bids and see where they fall. But from my review of the record, you really need an engineer's report to reestablish the repair grade, because there is nothing in the records that show what that repair grade was. We have looked at the ditch below the connection of the laterals, and have made our best estimate of what that historic grade was. But you need something of record to go back to in the future. And if you go through the hearing process and they have an engineer's report, and the engineer says this is the grade, then that becomes your repair target in the future as well, if you don't have now. You also will have an arm wrestle with the railroad, and if you have a formal hearing process and an engineer's report, and you call what a repair is a repair, you're going to have a better position with the railroad to dig out what you need to take out underneath that old bridge.
What's your estimate for the engineering on this project? Just the engineering of it.
Well, to do it right, you need to have a survey done of the ditch, which Crawford would do. Probably $5,000 for that, and the engineer's report $15 to $20 to get it to you through the hearing. Then a total of about $25,000 through the hearing, and then
and that gets to our bids.
Yeah, then you would go to take bids after that. There'd be more after that.
And then there'd be, well, you take bids, but then your engineer, you'd want him to make sure that was all done according to the engineering study. So there'd be a little extra cost.
Yeah, the engineer would be involved at that time as well. Right.
Yes, Kurt.
Don, is it true that some of the work that's been done to date will be of benefit in this process?
Yes.
Some of the Crawford work and some of the engineering work?
Yes. So what we've done so far in the report, establishing the grade and getting some benchmarks set out there is of value. Also, if you have Crawford do the survey while they're here staking this tile project, there'll be savings in that regard as well.
And this, if we proceed with that project, having the engineer report and the surveying and everything else, and take bids and go ahead with it, that would be assessed to the whole district, not just the
main ditch. Yes.
Not just that'd be the whole district out there.
Yes, and by your assessment schedule, you now have per acre basis.
Yeah.
John, I think the reason why this is, I can only speak for myself, but the reason this is different, John, correct me if I'm wrong about the sequence here, but John and I at separate times went out and viewed some work that was done by this particular contractor already. And it was, by everybody's appraisal, was very, very good. And in fact, I don't know how to get rid of wisdom teeth, but I asked another contractor about it that does know how to get rid of wisdom teeth, and said it was very, very good work. So I think the fear of the unknown in this particular case that he's trying to guard against isn't nearly as significant, because we, for the drainage district, went out and looked at this particular work and saw what it could do and the satisfaction of the farmers associated with it. That's what kind of started down this pathway, because we felt comfortable with the work, we felt comfortable with the quality of the contractor, and felt comfortable with the prices. That's where John, I don't want to speak for you, but
that's good.
Basically, but yeah, and I don't agree totally with what Jim says, because it is interpretation. But once we get the petition in front of us, it basically dictates what we need to do. We have to hire an engineer to go out and do this. So we have it before us. I don't think we can not accept it, because it's been presented to us, and I think that's what code says.
Well, and the engineer almost has to be done, because you've already done some work out there. So
I would
somebody else going there as a new engineer, they're going to have to start all over from scratch.
I've certainly been willing to do it, but it's your call. And we'll get the steps done and be efficient about it, and it'll be right. But yes, there is a cost to it. Frankly, I don't see the way to avoid that, and philosophically, I don't think you should, because the landowners have a right to a hearing, and we need an engineer's report for the hearing.
Yeah, that ditch needs cleaned out below before you drain the 48-inch tile into a 24-inch ditch. No, that don't make sense.
That's right. We're going to start underwater. Dig on it. So, you know,
I would make a motion that we appoint BMI to prepare the engineer's report for the clean-out repair of the main open ditch, and appoint Crawford Engineering to provide field survey support for the engineer's report.
Okay, the motion's been made by Ellerhoff. Is there a second to that motion? I will second it to bring it to a vote. Any discussion? Roll call. Ellerhoff.
Aye.
Gao.
Aye.
Kaufman.
nay.
Nay.
Dearberg, aye. So it's been passed. So you're do the engineering on it.
We'll be efficient as we can be. And the reason I asked for a separate contract with Crawford is they're right here. They will then bill you directly. If they bill through us, we need to add a percentage to it to cover our cost, particularly our liability cost.
Sounds good.
And I think doing it as part of, at the same time we have this lateral project, will be more efficient for you as well.
Efficient for them, not us.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else you need?
I don't think so. Brad's going to give me the copy of that, who those commissioners are. And
Do you want me to email it, or do you want it
that'd
right
be,
today?
Go ahead and email it to me.
Okay, I can scan it and email it.
And then we'll talk next morning, Tuesday morning about it.
8:30.
And I'll put these other things that were deferred on here on Tuesday.
Oh. Thank you, Don.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Quite a day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, we have some invoices here from Dirk's Farms that went around the other day. The work that was done back in May 30th of 2014 and May 9th of 2014. One is for $290, another one for $292, another one for $59.28. That was done on 16-inch tile, I guess.
That's the, I think you spoke about those earlier. the-
it's, south of the dirt road up there, next to Highway 38, and they just, pretty shallow, foot and a half, and they just keep going out. That's 18-inch now.
Move to approve.
Okay, motion been,
There's also another hole there I haven't fixed yet. I mean, probably have to get that one fixed too before we go to the field, but as soon as we get this rest out of tile, then that should end it. Quite a bit of tile went in a year and a half ago above us, and since that time, it just keeps blowing these out. There's not much you can do about it.
no. Well, the problem is right now, we have no money in the summer drainage.
Right.
We just do warrants.
So we want to the treasurer.
Yeah.
Did you make the motion, Betty?
I did.
Okay,
Second.
motion been made by Eleanor, second by Bell. Any more discussion? Roll call. Eleanor.
Aye.
Bell.
Aye.
Kaufman.
Aye.
Gal. Aye. And Deborah aye, so. Okay, is there anything else for the Sandwich Drainage District?
There were minutes.
The
John
bills,
got the
John's
bills.
got the bills. Huh?
The minutes, I would like to defer, cause I have a correction
She's
in
got a
there
correction
to
to
make,
make.
if you would, on the Tuesday.
Sure.
Okay, is there anything else before the Sandwich Drainage District?
I move that we rise from Sandwich Drainage District.
Okay, the motion been made by Kaufman. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion? Second by Gal. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No, Sandwich Drainage District. Back to regular session. Is there anything to come before the regular session?
Move that we adjourn.
Okay, the motion been made by Kaufman. Is there a second motion?
Second.
Second by Eleanor. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. Have a nice Christmas, everybody. See you
Yes,
next Thursday.
you, everyone.
Bev, can I leave this here? Or leave the door open if you would, will you? I gotta go down to the assessor's
Certainly,
office.
certainly.